Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Melanie and I now do a variety of videos, but predominantly this is a vlog channel where I film little bits of my life and put it on here. I do daily videos which are generally one-take videos in the kitchen where I'm showing something or just having a general chat, and then bi-weekly videos which is either a one-take video or it's filmed over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. At the moment I do 5 vlogs type videos a week, 2 bi-weekly, 3 daily. That's likely to change with how I'm feeling at the moment, but I will always strive to do 2 bi-weekly videos a week. And Tuesday and Sunday are going to be either haul videos, videos where I show makeup, do makeup looks, do tidying videos, decluttering videos, that type of video, and storytime videos. So far, storytime videos, I have done one where I'm talking about how I really feel at the moment, because I'm finding it hard to do it in bi-weekly footage, because when I'm feeling a little bit sad and things like that, I don't always have my vlog camera with me. And I've also talked about my job, what went on with my job and why I left. And I did miss things out of that, but I filmed an hour, so I couldn't really go back and add more to that. So this video is a difficult video for me. I needed to get some legal advice before I filmed it anyway, because I needed to know if I could fully name the person. I felt like I could name the person because there's no ramifications for me naming someone. The only thing this person could potentially do would be try and sue me. But seeing as I've got no money, as I've been told, you know, it'd cost them more in fees than they would get from trying to sue someone with no money. And, you know, I have the right to tell what happened to me and why I am suicidal and have been for well over a year, probably 18 months since I've met this person. I was forced into a police case by 2 DCs, one more so than the other, but obviously they're both going to say they didn't force me, but you know, there's evidence to prove that they did, because they had done something and needed me to give a statement to justify their actions. I straight away said to them I didn't want anything to do with the case. I said it the day after to, it was either a sergeant or an inspector who I met the day after, because there was an epic mistake straight away. And I was like, I'm having nothing to do with this anymore, you've pushed me into it, I don't want anything to do with it. They carried on keeping me involved, even though countless times I told this person I didn't want anything to do with it. So this person stayed in my life. She would contact me. I contacted her as well, because she would say things to me and I felt like I was constantly having to stand up for myself, which I found difficult, because she had basically made me feel down from the day that I met her, and she threatened to put my front door through because I wouldn't answer the door to her, which I've got every right to do, because, you know, I didn't want anything to do with her or the police. So this DC, Melissa Chadwick, stayed in my life unnecessarily because the case was closed, and she would still contact me. I contacted her, she contacted me, when really her role was completely over in that case, or whatever you want to call it. I call it a farce, forcing someone into a case they don't want anything to do with. And she just stuck around basically, and she would contact me and she would tell me things she shouldn't tell me about cases that she was involved in, or about people that she was working with. And you know, I don't know why she felt the need to tell me these things. I don't know if it was because she was trying to get me on side, trying to befriend me. I don't know. I don't try to think about it too much, because, you know, basically the reason I am suicidal is because of her. So she became even more involved in my life around January, February last year. She was ringing me and she was warning me not to go out, warning me to not do certain things, which for legal reasons on my behalf I'm not getting into on here, but I've got messages to prove what she was saying, some of the things she was saying to me, basically hinting at things to me, but because I was so stressed out because of the pressure she had put me under and the police, but her in general, I didn't know what to think or do, and I was in a situation and I was under a lot of pressure and everyone was wanting different things from me and I didn't know what to do with myself. And instead of backing off and giving me time to sort my head out and, you know, get past what Melissa basically caused from day one, Melissa and another person, another female, who's nothing to do with the police, but you know, that's another thing I'm going to be exploring very soon with legal help. So one day Melissa and another DC, Karen, got me in a room at the police station and they both went at me, especially Melissa. She said some really nasty things to me and I then took off to Devon to take my own life. I'd planned it all out, I wrote notes, I had notes ready, and you know, when I look back at footage that I filmed what I never put on this channel, it shocks me the state I was actually in at the time. I was in a very, very dark place, and when I watch myself talking, I'm just making no sense at all. And now, even now I'm in a dark place now, I think the stress of what she was doing to me was so intense. I couldn't think clearly, I didn't know what was going on. I was surprised I knew my name looking back at some of the footage, and there's videos up on the channel that I watch from around that time where I'm not myself, I'm not, you know, in a very happy place, and a lot of it was to do with the police being in my life, especially Melissa. And I didn't particularly like Melissa at the time. I didn't take to Melissa from day one. Like I said, she was, you know, I referred to her as the scary one and the other one as the nice one, but the nice one was very, very fake, and she eventually did show her true colours. So that's why I did feel more of a connection to Melissa, because at least Melissa didn't pretend she was nice. Melissa was quite brutal and she didn't hide that fact, and I think, you know, I think I appreciated that about Melissa, whereas Karen was very fake and pretending to be nice when it was quite clear she definitely wasn't. So I think that's why I felt more like talking to Melissa. I didn't want to know Karen particular, and to be honest, I didn't want to know Melissa. So I was in Devon, and the day before I'd planned to take my life because I'd planned to take it on a Sunday. The police found me and I got told by the landlady of the hotel that I had to phone Melissa. So I phoned Melissa, who then had me in tears and made me feel even worse, and you know, she was throwing all these questions at me and I was trying to answer her questions, but I didn't really answer anything. I just answered a couple of questions, and then she kept on at me and pushing me and pushing me and telling me that I had something to confess, and I was like, I don't have anything to confess. She kept saying, yeah you do, that's why you took off. And I said, no, I haven't took off because of that. I took off because of what you said to me and the threats that you made to me, you know, a few days before I left. I said I couldn't cope. I said I couldn't cope with what you were threatening me and how you said you was going to make my life a living hell, which you'd already done before that. So I knew it was going to get worse. And I was on the phone to her for nearly an hour, and you know, she tried to turn it round, and like 1 minute she was being super nice to me, and then all of a sudden she'd be nasty and snap at me again. And like, I was already in a state because I'd planned to take my life the next day because I couldn't cope with what Melissa had said to me in private away from everyone, and you know, it was too much for me, and I just couldn't cope. And I'd been in hospital with a head injury a couple of weeks earlier, and my brain wasn't working properly. It wasn't until around April time where my brain it probably wasn't around till the end of April, May time last year that my brain started to work a little bit better. But it was like my brain wasn't making full connections, and I didn't realise until I looked back or I started to feel better, and I was like, oh. So like nearly an hour into the phone conversation, there was a knock on my bedroom door in the hotel I was in, and it was 2 Devon police officers. One of them spoke to Melissa, and then they spoke to me, and I was like, you know, everything's fine, blah blah blah, because I weren't going to tell anyone what I was down there to do, because, you know, they'd stopped me and they already said a second unit was on the way and an ambulance, and I'm like, I was determined not to go anywhere. I thought, you know, and I talked to them and they were really nice to me. I couldn't say anything bad about the 2 male officers that attended. They were really nice, they were really genuine. They talked to me about how I was feeling, and, you know, they made sense and they made me rethink things a little bit. And when they were leaving, they said, give us like 5-10 minutes and then ring Melissa back and, you know, tell her how you feel now. So I rang Melissa back and she was like, what do you want? I said, you know, I'm ringing you back to let you know what's happened. Well, I'm busy, what do you want? I'm like, and she's like, you know, she had a go at me, and then I said, alright, I'm just going to kill myself. She went, good, do it, and put the phone down on me. And I was just, I couldn't believe that she'd done that. And to be honest, it actually annoyed me that she told me to go and do it. So I didn't do it. I just went and spoke to the landlady of the hotel and explained what had happened, why I was there. And she said she knew I'd like come away for some reason. She knew that obviously something had happened because of how I was acting. And she invited me for a drink that night and I went down, but that was an awkward situation. But if you want to know why, just refer to the Devon vlogs from last February. I think they went up March last year. So I came back, and then a few nights later Melissa was on nights and she got me on the phone for about 70 minutes, and she totally had changed her attitude 100%, and she kept saying, I feel like there was something you were trying to tell me, and I felt like we were getting somewhere, but I feel like there's something you want me to know. And I'm like, I don't know what I want you to know. I'm in a really bad place and you're affecting me. And she's like, oh, I don't mean to affect you. She was like really, really sickening sweet, and it wasn't the Melissa that I knew, because Melissa wasn't very nice to me and never had been very nice to me, and that's why I always referred to her as the scary one. So when she's on the phone being really sweet and trying to come across as sincere, that messed with my head even more. I didn't know what to think, and I was sat there and she did the majority of the talking. I filmed some of the conversation and you can see me just sat there and saying the odd word and her talking and talking and talking. And it was like she went on this charm offensive trying to befriend me and trying to get me to say things or agree to things that weren't actually true. And she's like, I really want you to trust me, I'm going to help you, I'm going to make everything better, I'm going to make things go away, I'm going to help you and all this. And I didn't know what to think. And then she said some things to me on the phone that, like, she knew what my dream job was, even though it's not public knowledge, and I couldn't work out how she found out. But I now know. I now know I accidentally said it in a video when I was very distressed. I think it was like November time 2016, because I was going through hell and the police weren't very helpful with that. And I said in that video what my dream job was, and I didn't realise that I'd said it in that video. And Melissa went, I know you want to be such and such, and I was just there like absolutely gobsmacked, thinking how she worked that out. It's not public knowledge, a couple of people know, it's not something I've gone around talking about, because a lot of people wouldn't be happy with me if I did that job, especially my dad. My dad totally discouraged me because he doesn't like the people related to that job. He's dead against them. He doesn't like them at all because a lot of them are bent. But I'm not going to talk about on here what my dream job is, because I will do a separate video about that, because I did say I would talk about that one day. So she said that, she said a couple of other things, and then she hinted that she knew something, which totally shocked me. And then I'm thinking, God, she knows all this stuff. How does she know all this stuff? Especially the job thing, because that had never been disclosed anywhere as far as I was aware. But I discovered towards the end of last year, so nearly a year after she said it to me, she'd basically found out from a video. She couldn't have possibly found out any other way. So it all started to click. But so she basically was on the phone for 70 minutes. I've still got the call log to prove that. And a couple of days later, she's still on nights. rang me up, had a conversation with me, rang me again, had another conversation with me that upset me so much. I think I sent her a message saying you upset me or something along those lines. I do have copies of these messages. And then she rang me back, had a go at me, upset me even more, rang me back a fourth time, carried it on. So I took an overdose because of Melissa Chadwick, and I told her what I'd done. I sent her a message, told her what I'd done. She rang me, started having a go at me on the phone, which made the situation a million times worse as far as I'm concerned, because I'm the distressed and upset. She'd pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. I took an overdose. She gets on the phone, starts telling me off, having a go at me, telling me to go and wake my dad up, and like, I'm not waking my dad up, I don't, I just want to be left alone. So like, we've took an overdose, and she's shouting down the phone at me, and I'm in tears, and she's like, I'm phoning an ambulance, and put phone down on me. So there's me, like, I don't want the ambulance to come to my house, left my house, like, in the worst outfit possible.